Welcome to House Lux Estate, a channel known for delivering insightful content on finance, real estate, and everything in between. Today, we're tackling a thought-provoking topic: 10 reasons why being poor is expensive. It's crucial to understand the hidden costs of poverty, which often exacerbate the struggles faced by those with limited resources. By shedding light on these financial paradoxes, we can work towards more equitable solutions. Stay tuned as we delve into these 10 eye-opening reasons. Reason number 1, high interest rates. Let's delve right into this. When financial resources are scarce, individuals often resort to borrowing. However, without a substantial credit history or collateral, they're typically only eligible for high-interest loans. It's akin to playing a risky game where the stakes are high and the odds are stacked against you. These high interest rates translate to higher repayments, which can consume a significant portion of a person's income. As more money is funneled towards repaying debts, less is available for other essential needs. This perpetuates a cycle of borrowing to meet those needs, leading to even more debt. The irony is that the less money you have, the more you're charged to borrow. It's a paradoxical situation where those with the least financial flexibility end up paying the most. This is a prime example of how being poor can be more expensive. Thus, the cycle of debt perpetuates, making poverty more expensive. Moving on to the second reason, the lack of bulk buying power. Now, imagine going to the store and seeing a pack of 6 rolls of toilet paper for $5 and a pack of 24 rolls for $15. If you've got the spare change, you'll probably go for the bigger pack, right? Well, that's the concept of economy of scale in action. Buying in bulk often leads to cost savings in the long run. But when you're living paycheck to paycheck, every cent counts. And that might mean you can only afford the smaller pack, even though it's more expensive per roll. This is not just about toilet paper. It's about all sorts of goods, from food items to cleaning supplies. When you can't afford to buy in bulk, you end up paying more for the same items over time. As a result, individuals living in poverty often pay more for the same goods and services. The third reason is expensive housing. It's no secret that affordable housing is a major crisis in many regions. Those who are economically disadvantaged often reside in areas where rent is disproportionately high relative to their income. This means that a larger chunk of their income goes towards keeping a roof over their heads. In an ideal world, housing should only consume about 1/3 of one's income, but for many low-income individuals and families, it can take up half or even more. Imagine the struggle of juggling other necessities like food, healthcare, and education with such a heavy financial burden. This high cost of living not only limits their ability to save, but also restricts their capacity to invest in opportunities for upward mobility, such as further education or starting a small business. This cycle of poverty is further perpetuated when individuals are unable to break free from the shackles of expensive housing. Thus, expensive housing becomes another hidden cost of poverty. Reason number 4, poor health and high medical costs. It's a well-documented fact that poverty and poor health often go hand in hand. Living in a state of constant financial stress can lead to a multitude of health issues, such as high blood pressure, heart disease, and mental health disorders. Additionally, those with limited financial resources often lack access to nutritious food and safe housing, exacerbating these health issues. But the story doesn't end there. Once illness strikes, the high cost of medical care can be a further blow to people's already stretched budgets. Doctor's appointments, medications, treatments, and hospital stays all come with hefty price tags. And without adequate insurance, these costs can be debilitating. It's a cruel cycle. Poverty leads to poor health, which in turn leads to high medical costs, further deepening the financial hole. So poor health and high medical costs make being poor even more expensive. Fifth reason on our list is the cost of education. Picture this: a world where the cost of learning is so high that it becomes a roadblock rather than a bridge to opportunities. For many, this isn't a dystopian novel but a harsh reality. When education costs soar, those living in poverty often find themselves locked out of higher income jobs that require advanced degrees. Additionally, the inability to afford education often leads to a vicious cycle. Without quality education, the chances of landing well-paying jobs diminish, keeping families trapped in the claws of poverty. And let's not forget about student loans. For those brave enough to take on the burden of debt in pursuit of education, they are often left with a mountain of loans to repay, further exacerbating their financial struggles. In essence, the financial barrier of education not only limits the individual's potential, but also perpetuates generational poverty, making it a costly expense for the poor. Education costs, therefore, add to the high price of poverty. Moving to the sixth reason, job insecurity. It's a harsh reality that individuals with lower income often find themselves in jobs that lack stability. Imagine working in a position where every day could potentially be your last. That's the reality for many people in low-paying jobs. These jobs often come with no benefits, such as health insurance or retirement plans, leaving workers vulnerable to the unpredictability of life. This constant state of uncertainty can lead to stress and anxiety, which can further affect one's quality of life and overall well-being. The lack of a stable income also means one misstep, like a sudden illness or an unexpected expense, could lead to job loss. And finding a new job when you're already struggling can be a daunting task. It's a vicious cycle that keeps people trapped in poverty. Job insecurity, thus, is another cost that makes poverty expensive. The seventh reason is high transportation costs. Now, imagine this. You live in a neighborhood where the cost of living is relatively low, but the jobs are miles away. This is a reality for many individuals living in poverty. They often reside far from their workplaces, and the cost of getting to work and back home can take a significant bite out of their paychecks. Public transportation may seem like a solution, but let's not forget, it's not always reliable or available. And owning a car? That comes with its own set of costs: fuel, maintenance, insurance. For those with low income, these expenses can quickly add up. Moreover, living far from work also means spending more time commuting, time that could have been used for other income-generating activities or for rest and recreation. So not only does this situation hit the wallet, it also takes a toll on personal time and well-being. High transportation costs are another hidden expense of poverty. Eighth reason is the lack of access to technology. In today's digital age, technology has become a necessity rather than a luxury. However, for those facing poverty, this necessity can often be out of reach. This disparity, known as the digital divide, hampers the ability of poor individuals to access online services and opportunities, thus contributing to the cycle of poverty. Think about it. From paying bills to buying groceries, from accessing educational resources to applying for jobs, everything is moving online. But without access to technology, these tasks become more time-consuming and expensive. For instance, imagine having to pay for public transport to pay your bills in person, or buying groceries from local stores at higher prices, instead of cheaper online alternatives. Moreover, lack of digital literacy can lead to missed opportunities for jobs and education, which are increasingly becoming digital. Lack of access to technology, thus, is another cost that makes poverty expensive. The ninth reason is food insecurity. This is a challenge that often goes unnoticed, but it's a heavy burden that many low-income individuals have to carry. Food insecurity isn't just about not having enough food, it's about not knowing where your next meal is coming from. It's the constant worry about how to feed yourself and your family. And what does this lead to? A reliance on more expensive, less healthy food options. Fresh produce, lean proteins, and other healthy food items can be pricey, and when you're living paycheck to paycheck, they may seem like luxuries. So those facing food insecurity often turn to cheaper alternatives: processed foods, fast foods, items high in sodium and sugar. These not only cost more in the long run, but also contribute to health issues like obesity and heart disease, leading to even more costs down the line. Food insecurity, therefore, is another hidden cost of poverty. The 10th and final reason is the poverty premium. Now you might be wondering, what is this poverty premium? Well, it's a term used to describe the extra cost that low-income individuals often shoulder for basic services. This is due to a host of factors, such as location, credit rating, and lack of access to mainstream providers. Consider this. Living in a neighborhood with limited resources often means paying more for necessities like groceries, as the local stores may charge higher prices due to lack of competition. Or think about banking services. Those with lower credit scores often face higher interest rates, making loans and credit cards more expensive. And let's not forget about insurance. If you're in a high-risk area, you'll likely pay more for coverage. So you see, it's not just about the lack of money, it's about where you live, your credit standing, and your access to services. The poverty premium is the ultimate cost that makes being poor expensive. To summarize, the 10 reasons why being poor is expensive are high interest rates, lack of bulk buying power, expensive housing, poor health with high medical costs, education costs, job insecurity, transportation costs, lack of access to technology, food insecurity, and the poverty premium. These factors create a cycle that can make it challenging to escape poverty. Remember to subscribe to House Lux Estate for more insightful content like this. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.